Good evening. I'm April Benson, and I'm really happy to welcome you to tonight's webinar. I'm delighted that we are at this point that we can offer a webinar, Are You Overshopping or Overspending? Personalized text messages can help. This is the launch of our text messaging program. We've been working on it for well over a year, and it is hot off the press. Speaking of first piece of press today in an article in luckyshops.com. The program I'll be talking about in much more detail, but let's begin by just telling you that it's 3 months long. It is totally confidential. Nobody will know that you're getting these texts or that you're using our just-in-time help. It is right on target, very personalized in several ways, and really speaks to the compulsive buyers we have tested this out on. So I'm now going to begin on the slides. The lag, yes, thank you. As you've already surmised, there is a lag between the time I speak and the time you hear. So I'm going to wait for a while to answer the questions to give people a chance to ask them. Okay, so I'll join you with the slides. Just pinwheel. Okay, so as I said, this is the title of tonight's webinar, and right off, let's talk about whether this presentation even is for you. And if you decide it isn't, then you haven't taken up too much of your time. So the presentation is for you if you have a problem with shopping or spending, you know you need to change, and you also want to change. Nothing is more central to stopping overshopping than being highly motivated to do so. The program is an attempt to help you to build and maintain your motivation. It's also for you if you haven't found targeted help for this problem. There isn't a lot of targeted help for this problem, I'm sad to say. So we are very happy to be able to add this. It's also for you if you have found targeted help, maybe Debtors Anonymous, maybe one of our groups, maybe working with somebody who has experience working with compulsive buyers, and maybe that help didn't work for you, or maybe it worked but you want extra help. It's also for you if you can't afford individual or group coaching or therapy, and it's for you if the idea of regular, daily, ongoing support appeals to you. Okay, one problem that we did want to address is this idea of regular, daily, ongoing support, because no therapy or group provides that. The other problem we wanted to add was we wanted to add a program that almost anybody struggling with this issue can use for additional support. It's for people who are far along in their journeys and people for whom this is the first step on the recovery staircase. Before I get into the details of what this program is, I wanted to address the idea of questions. Again, if you have a question, as I'm speaking, type it into the box that says chat, and I will happily take all of your questions at the end. So I want to address what may be your very realistic skepticism. How can something that costs less than a week's worth of lattes really help? Can you really make headway if you don't do deep work that you might do in individual or group coaching or therapy? And I will address that too. What's so great about getting text messages anyway? Well, that I'm going to speak to quite soon. And maybe by this point you feel pretty hopeless. You might feel that you've been struggling so long with this issue that you don't think anything will work, least of all this. Keep in mind that ongoing support makes a huge difference. For example, we all know how easy it is not to exercise or not to meditate, for example, not to go to the gym. If you have a friend to go with, or to remind you, or to text you, you're much more likely to show up. The same thing with the doctor's appointments. You're much more likely to go if you get a reminder by phone or text from the doctor's office. These same concepts are built into the text messaging program. The texts can function as a digital shopping support buddy and make it much less likely that you'll blow off or forget the change you're trying to make. Let's explore the question of whether text messaging programs work. Text messaging programs have shown a statistically significant positive effect on many health outcomes or health behaviors. However, I think it's important that they not be oversold. Text messaging is not psychotherapy. It is something that can really be a fabulous jumpstart, a terrific reinforcer, and can really help in significant ways. It has been effective in reducing the severity and maintaining improvement for a variety of impulsive and compulsive behaviors, including smoking, alcohol consumption, and bulimia. It's important that you know that this research is really in its infancy. So all of these programs, including ours, are evolving, and you would be among the pioneers. Just as I have been with treating compulsive buying, and it's been very, very satisfying. So this might be for you too. The more tailored, personalized, and interactive the program, the better the outcome. Our program is tailored, personalized, and interactive. So let's look at why text messaging programs work. We've spoken to this a little bit already. Ongoing reminders like doctor, etc. Keep the issue at the forefront of your consciousness, directing, motivating, and inspiring you. Well-crafted message can feel like a wise, nurturing friend has your back. The texts can be personalized on an individual basis and can provide immediate personalized support 24/7. The texts can be used as prompts for journal and diary. The messages and any written response you've made are always available on your cell phone. You can refer to them anytime, anywhere. You can add to the messages you get. You can argue with them. You can interact with them. Have a dialogue. Okay. Now we're going to talk about why this text messaging program works. And I do want to make sure you are aware that we don't have yet any randomized control study with this program. We have that of our 12-session program, but the text messaging program is new. What we do have is the feedback from our 20 beta testers. And we're going to share a little of that. I'm going to share a little of that with you. So the program has been developed by a team of mental health professionals who have expertise in working with people with shopping problems. And we have teamed up with Fred Munch, who is the owner of Mobile Health Interventions, and he has been doing these kinds of programs now for several years. So this was the team, and he works with a few people, and so do I, and so there have been about 5 or 6 of us at work on this. Many of the texts are based on that treatment program I just mentioned, the one that is what's called evidence-based now. The Stopping Overshopping treatment program, the one that's based on my book. Many of the texts are based on that program. And as I said, it's been clinically researched and shown to be highly effective at reducing compulsive buying behavior. Okay, now the last thing that I want to do before I get into a detailed explanation about the program, I want to introduce you to Lauren. And the reason that I want to tell you Lauren's story is that Lauren, who was one of our beta testers, used the program to great effect and wrote a lot to me about it. So in New York, street vendors selling handbags spring up after the new year like mushrooms after a rain. Lauren couldn't deny that her shopping had gotten out of hand when she couldn't pass one without buying, despite the fact that she already had over 100 purses. Severe skin allergies to any fabric other than natural fibers narrowed Lauren's clothing choices. Feeling deprived by these constraints, she wanted to dress up her basic and boring wardrobe with colorful accessories, handbags, scarves, etc., that added interest and style. The best thing about these items is that she could be of any size, weigh any amount, and they still fit her, unlike some of her clothing. She could blissfully select the item in the store, buy it, and take it home without ever having to set foot in a fitting room. It was the perfect quick fix. Sound familiar? Maybe to some of you? Certainly to me. Lauren has struggled with food, eating, and weight for most of her life and believes the struggle will be a lifelong one. Lauren was in one of our 12-session groups and during that time made enormous headway with her shopping addiction. In the 2 weeks before the group began, she had shopped 20 times, had spent 22 hours shopping, and had spent over $3,000. Her scores on all 4 of the compulsive buying measures were solidly in the compulsive buying range. Before the group ended, the amount of time she spent shopping compulsively was almost not at all, and the same thing was true of the 6-month follow-up. She's had a lot to cope with in the 3 years since the group ended. I don't need to go into all of that, but she has. And even with these stressors, she was able to do a lot to continue the progress that she's had. I said she'd been in our group treatment research study, but she was still prone from time to lapses and slips. And she believes that she'll need to be mindful about shopping and eating always. She was motivated to test out the text messaging program because she wanted ongoing support. One of the things she told me is that she had been using a text messaging program, unfortunately, that's no longer available, for gratitude that helped her remember all the blessings in her life, So she'd already had a good experience with a text messaging program. And Lauren is one of the people that used the texts as prompts to write about herself, to engage with them, and she found that quite helpful. So at the end of the program, really, this is what she had to say. These texts have been enormously helpful for me. I have not overshopped at all since I first began receiving them. I am so grateful. Thank you. So, I'm not saying that everybody is going to have this response, reaction, make this kind of headway, but it's certainly a possibility. It requires a lot on your part, though. It requires a lot of mindfulness about what it is that you're reading. It requires that if there's an audio link to go to, you go to it, or a video link. So, not to get too much ahead of myself, let's talk about how the program works. Once you register for the program, you'll be taken to a short survey. Your answers to the survey trigger texts that are personalized to you. You'll get 2 texts a day for 3 months, delivered at random times during the day to keep it fresh. One of those texts is a generic text. It means that at least 80% of you will relate to it. The other one is a specific text related to your assessment answer. You'll also get a special text on Friday night and another one on Sunday night, because the transition from week to weekend and back again can often be challenging in many ways. Challenging as a way to take stock and to let go of excesses during the week. Challenging if the weekend represents that time when you really let loose in many ways, including shopping. On big shopping days like Cyber Monday, July 4th, you'll get a text the day before and a text the day of to handle the extra temptation. And again, you can use the texts as prompts to journal. The interactive part of the program we're especially proud of, and this is how that works. It's called Just-in-Time Help. You'll be able to text the system 24/7 to get immediate just-in-time support if you have an urge or if you've already started to shop in a store or online. You'll get an immediate text back to help you manage those impulses. I like to say, we're going to try and talk you off that emotional ledge. The system checks in with you 10 minutes later to see how you're doing. After you respond, the program sends you one more tailored text, a different text if you're still shopping than if you've stopped. I mentioned the assessment. Let's talk a little bit about that. You'll be asked to fill out a short assessment about your overshopping profile, about why you overshop or overspend, about what triggers you and what the negative consequences are, what your shopping style is like, and what your goals are. This information will trigger texts that are tailored to you. For example, if you answered that you overshop or overspend to repair your mood, which is very, very, very common, you will receive texts that help you learn how to surf those urges and suggest other better ways to handle your moods. Notice and allow is the message we want to give here. If you said that your home or closet has many unused items in it, you'd receive messages that would help you to see the various costs of having this clutter and the benefits of letting it go. So, the details. Okay, this happened last week. I'm going to try and get this slide back so that it looks, so that you can actually read it rather than it being those black lines. Okay, good. Thank you, Christina. So the details. Availability. The program has officially launched and it's available now. Value. With your active involvement, you'll make better decisions about shopping and spending. Only you can decide what that's worth. Cost, $24.95. So the time has come to talk about who this program isn't for. It isn't for you if you're not sure that you really want to stop overshopping and overspending. I said motivation is the key. The program will help you, and you've got to do your part as well. It's not for you if you don't have a cell phone, obviously, that has text messaging capability. And it's not for you if you live outside of the US or Canada. An international version is forthcoming at some point. The program is for you if you're very clear that you want to reduce or stop overshopping or overspending. If you're very clear that what you're doing about it so far hasn't helped or hasn't helped enough. If your shopping and spending is not out of control anymore and you want to keep it that way. It's for you if you commit to mindfully consider the texts, listen to the audios, and go to the links for related resources or videos. And obviously, it's for you if you can send and receive texts on your cell phone. So before I open this up to questions, I want to share with you a cartoon that I came upon when I first began learning about compulsive buying, at least the treatment of it, not the doing of it. And I want to juxtapose the attempt to solve her problems and the offer that we've got here tonight. So let's take a look at this. We give a lot of power to the things we think we need, is the title. So Kathy is at the counter in a store, and I think it's a notions counter. And the woman behind the counter has a pencil in her hair. And Charlene says to her, Kathy says to her, I wasn't going to spend any money, but I just have to buy one new thing. If I buy one new thing, I'll feel new. If I feel new, I'll act new. If I act new, I'll lose weight, excel in my job, organize my home, catch up on all my correspondence, and have hordes of handsome men showering me with bouquets of Casablanca lilies. And the woman behind the counter says, a lot to ask of a headband. And Kathy says, however, well worth the $6.95 try. So you're going to have to decide if this $24.95 try is more likely to do something for you than Kathy's headband. All righty. Questions? I imagine there are already a few, and I'm going to look at them now. So I don't need this anymore. All right. All right. So the order. Sarah asks, how are the texts tailored to each user? Sounds interesting. The texts are tailored to each user based on your answers to the survey. So for example, if you and 4 other people gave the same 3 reasons that you think are the most important reasons that you overshop, you who say those same 3 reasons are going to get those same texts. But that's just one answer of yours. Every answer is going to have its own specific text messages. Okay. Kayla, you asked, I think before Sarah even, $24.95 for how long? It's a 3-month program, 12 weeks. Okay, Amanda, you asked if I thought this could help you stop over shopping to buy love. That's my main trigger. Well, what I will tell you is certainly one of the 9 reasons in that question on the survey is exactly that. So you would get some text specifically tailored to that. Not that many. You'll get some. But it's something, since you already know it's your trigger, some of the responsibility to be thinking and using the texts and filtering it through that is something that you'll need to do. All right, Christina. Hi, Leela. And are there more okay, let me. Okay, Candace. For big shopping days, is there a way to customize? I don't do Black Friday, but I do log on to independent dyers yarn updates. Am I able to provide these update days and times to get a reminder or prompt just before the update? It's such a fabulous question. And that, that could be possible in version 2, but that's not where we are yet. But it's just great. It's a great suggestion. And I do know that more customization is available, but it's much more complex, and we're starting very small here. No, 24, Kayla, you asked, no, not per month. $24.95 for 3 months. We really wanted to make this affordable to anybody. When can you sign up, Sasha? Sasha, you could sign up this minute if you wanted to. All you have to do is copy and paste the URL in either the sticky box or from the slide. All right, let's see if there are any other questions. I will say something. Carol, when you introduced yourself, it sounded like you were a therapist, and I was delighted that there is a therapist on the call too, because I do think this could be a very nice, tool in therapy. Oh, Sasha, you want to know if you can sign up again for the program. Do you mean for longer than 3 months? I'm going to assume that's what you mean. Yes, you can sign up again for the program. We don't know yet whether the next program will be the same as this or whether by then we'll have changed it a bit. But there'll be something. But concerned that before the customization, I may think more. Oh, I'm sorry, Candace, sorry. Candace says, I'm tempted to sign up, but concerned that before the customization rolls out, I may think more about shopping than I currently do. That's interesting. What I'm curious about is why the customization you were asking about was for particular shopping days. So if I hear you correctly, I'm assuming that what you're saying is you think Maybe you want fewer messages because you don't think that much about shopping now. I'm just not that totally clear on what you're asking or why it is that you'd be concerned that before the customization rolls out, you might think more about shopping than you currently do. And if you don't want to answer, that's fine. Or if you want to do it offline, you're welcome to email me. Sasha, Sasha is asking, can I text anytime during day or night for support? Yes. Anytime during day or night for support. And you will get an immediate text back. Okay, Candace, thank you for responding. Candace is saying that the reason she mentioned this is that she doesn't shop like she used to, and it's generally all online, and she stays out of stores. Well, that would come up in your assessment, Candace. So you would get specific texts relating to online. And as I said, the just-in-time intervention, if it's online, you get specific texts, specific just-in-time texts related to online, not related to bricks and mortar stores. Okay, so Kayla, Kayla's interested, but she believes more personalized text would be better than that of general ones. And right now it's 50-50, and that's what we could do for this iteration. And we might do something different later on, but right now we're pretty happy with this. Candace. Okay, so Candace says she still overshops to some degree, but in a very specific manner for very specific things, hobby related mostly. Yeah. And the texts will, land in the way that they land. And, it's just really hard to predict any one person's response to them. Sasha, you said you can tell this is just the medicine for you. Thank you so much for the info. Thank you so much for the vote of confidence. Carol is saying, yeah, you're right. I'm a grief therapist, and overshopping is a problem in this situation. Yes, I know that. I have worked with 2 people who, following the death of their husbands, this became a very big problem. Okay, Candace, you are asking, so if we try this out for a month and are not sold, can we cancel, or the $24.95 is flat, no matter whether we want to continue or not? It's a good question. We weren't thinking of refunding people's money, but it's certainly something we can think about. I think that it's something that, since I won't know the answer probably until Monday. If that's really important to you, then don't sign up until Monday when you know the answer. It is 9:34. We have 6 more minutes if anybody else wants to ask any questions. Hi, Leela. Okay, I'm with Sasha. This is just what I need as well. Count me in, and I will be signing up tomorrow, payday. Thanks for providing the service, April. Oh, thank you so much. Candace is asking, Candace has an added complication. I have ADHD, and this may greatly contribute to my shopping patterns. Is this also addressed in the survey? It's addressed indirectly, Candace. It's addressed in the sense that there's a lot of emphasis on slowing down. And that's the best I can say. I will tell you that we do know that people with ADHD do often are prone to compulsive buying, and there are a couple of, at least one, it's in the literature in at least one place. Sasha, can I use this program as a shopping support buddy? Sasha, it's a great question. It depends how you're going to consider your dyad. You can consider it your shopping support buddy because it does support you when you text it and say you're having an impulse, or you're already shopping in a bricks and mortar store, or you're already shopping online. And then, as you know, it texts you back in 10 minutes and you get one more text. That's a buddy. To me, what we've tried to do, wording the texts, are to be really friendly and warm and as wise as we can be, and really encouraging, because it really can be done. Okay, so Kayla, so anyone can join, even if they took, of course, your 12-week program a year ago. Absolutely. Marla, great new addition to treatment. Thank you very much. Marla also says, I definitely need 24/7 support, and this is the first program to offer this. Well, yeah, I think it's like among the first programs. This is kind of a pioneering one, as we understand. Most of the existing ones are done through hospitals or mental health clinics, universities. So we're particularly excited about that. So it is 9:37. Candace, that's great. She thanked me for answering all the questions. She's still on the fence, so she'll think it over. That is wisdom. Sasha, you're welcome. By the way, if you do start the program and you have something you want to tell us, you will be seeing how to email if you have some feedback you want to share. This is an evolving program. Well, I would like to kind of take this opportunity to thank Christina Salerno, who has been my intern and program manager and all around amazing helper for 2 years. And she is going on to work at IBM, and we've hired Christina's successor. So if you provide feedback, you might be hearing from someone named Varshini, as well as from me. It's 9:39. We have time for one last question, or I could just close the way I sometimes open my groups, which is to say, may you be filled with loving kindness. May you be held in loving kindness. May you accept yourselves just as you are. May your heart and mind awaken. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. It's really been a pleasure. And even though it still says 9:39 on the clock, I think this is a good time to end. So I wish you a good evening. And now, hopefully, so I'm going to say good night and stop the broadcast. Good night.